Hi, my name is Kasim Heath, and today I will be discussing why specialist services are needed for those who work or will be working in the medical profession. When it comes to the mental health of those in our medical workforce, they face many issues such as burnout, PTSD, suicide, and depression, with burnout and depression being the most prevalent. When we say burnout, it's a lot more than just being burnt out and tired. Burnout is also emotional exhaustion, feelings of cynicism and detachment from work, as well as a low sense of personal accomplishment. Mental health specialists, such as psychiatrists and therapists, should be more available for our medical field because of suicide rates, effects on patients, the outside looks on jobs to provincial medical field workers, and known mental health issues from previous medical professionals. This chart shows that of the medical professionals polled, over 25% would seek some sort of mental help, such as a psychiatrist or a therapist. One of the main reasons that specialist services should be provided would be because of the transference of negative effects due to poor mental health of doctors to their patients. The graph above shows that less than 50% of doctors who are depressed don't allow it to affect their jobs. However, the other 50% shows otherwise, with over 25% of doctors showing signs of being less careful with patient notes and documents, which can lead to a potentially even greater problem. The severity chart at the bottom also shows that only 2% of those asked are not affected in any sort of way, but that leaves the other 98% that are, with 10% even wanting to leave the field. This leads us to another problem, which is potential shortages in the field due to a poor future work environment. All the time we hear growing up, there will always be jobs in the medical field because people will always be getting sick. But how does that transfer over when people no longer want to be in that field because of their own minds getting sick? Doctors are growing less fond of what was once a great career, even to the point of them wanting to leave that field as a whole, and also not even suggesting it to their own kids. In opposition to this, some may say that the cost of providing necessary help in an already costly field would be too great. They can argue that we already spend too much money as a country in our medical field and that this would just end up another expense. According to a study done by the American Healthcare Initiative, the U.S. spends more on healthcare than any other country in the world. 18% of the GDP is spent on healthcare, which is about $3.5 trillion per year. 1.5 of that trillion, which is nearly 8% of the finance by the government, which means that 8% of our economy is dedicated to healthcare. However, we never really need to go outside the source. With healthcare already being funded so much, funds can be reallocated from an already existing organization. Also, healthcare is probably one of the most lucrative businesses in the world. If money is an issue, providing these resources at a price which doctors can afford can potentially turn a profit, especially if the funding already comes from within. Another argument can be made that doctors don't want help. These two graphs show lackluster results when it comes to doctors and wanting to be treated for their mental health issues. While that may be the case, that shouldn't stop us from providing help to those that do. These two graphs on the right shows results of which doctors are more likely to seek help than others and where help would be most likely received if given the opportunity. Yes, it may be true that some medical professionals don't want help, but that shouldn't take away the resources from those who it might potentially save. Maybe if it becomes more available, we can erase the stigma of it being too embarrassing or too low of a thing for doctors to seek help. In conclusion, Specialist services should be provided for those working or plan on working in the medical profession. Studies show that mental health is a prevalent issue for those working in the field. Even though it may seem like a costly change, there are means available to make funding not an issue. And even if some medical professionals aren't actively seeking or desire help, this doesn't mean that we shouldn't better our efforts to help those who do. Thank you for listening, and if you have any questions, feel free to email me at kheath4@dtcc.edu. It's KHEATH4@dtcc.edu. Thank you.